I've known Bob Ericson for pushing 40 years, ever since his son Chris and his soccer team used to beat up on Doug's soccer team, of which I was the coach. So that was kind of a tough start, but Bob's been a good friend for many years. Bob was born in Eastern Oregon, moved to Portland when he was in the first grade, attended Beaumont Middle School, graduated from Grant High School and later Portland State University. And he spent his entire career working for a bunch of different letters, DIA, IRS, a lot of governmental things. Spent 39 years with the IRS, spent 5 years with the Defense Intelligence Agency, DIA, and did a couple other projects, 1 and 2 year stints overseas in the Philippines and so forth. Bob lives in Beaverton with his wife, Maggie. They have 3 children and 7 grandchildren. He's very involved with the Oak Hills Homeowners Association. He's also involved with the Urban Tour Group, which he got my wife Pam involved with. The Urban Tour Group is a nonprofit that provides free tours to 3rd graders in the downtown area. They are going through some of the same issues with that group that we are with our activities in Rotary. When Bob isn't busy doing things that he doesn't want to do, what he does like to do is travel. He likes to be around his grandkids. He likes to garden. How he got involved with murals, I hope he explains to us, but I got to see this talk with the UTG group and I enjoyed it very much. It's up to you, Bob.
Thank you, Denny. First of all, I want to thank you for inviting me to join you this afternoon, Zooming, so I can talk to you about Portland's mural art scene, and specifically murals on the east side of Portland, which in my opinion has the highest concentration of murals in the entire city. And I got started with this to present to Urban Tour members who are not able to tour children because of the coronavirus, to keep us engaged. And one of my interests is art, and murals are a part of that. Driving to Northeast Portland to see my daughter and her family, or Southeast Portland to see my son and his family, came across several murals. Traveling in Europe, place was just full of murals. And so it's an exciting thing. And to begin this discussion or this presentation on murals, I Googled Portland murals, and I was just overwhelmed with what is out there for us to see. And so murals are really not unique to Portland. It's a worldwide phenomena. And I'm really happy that, that Portland is really a part of it. And what I've included in today's presentation are murals to be found along Northeast Alberta Street and in the east side commercial industrial area down near the Willamette River. And I really encourage all of you to learn more about murals, Portland murals especially, and make a point to go out and discover them. As an aid, one of the nonprofits that works in this entire community has developed, in conjunction with Portland Travel, a series of maps. These maps can be found online, and they're really wonderful. They highlight not only Alberta Street, but also the commercial, industrial east side area. And they're just a wonderful thing for you to use to begin your study. Murals are ever changing. What I'm going to show you today is just a sampling of what's out there, particularly on the east side, but go out and take a look. And I'm sure many of you are familiar with some of these that I'm going to be showing today. So I'm going to share my screen, and we'll do a PowerPoint of murals in that area. I'm going to talk about, first of all, why there's an explosion of mural arts. Reportedly, neighborhoods that have a higher proportion of urban art, such as murals, experience an increase in market value. And they also attract happy pedestrians, happy customers, and hopefully happy employees. And street art contributes greatly to the concept of the development of the creative city. And Portland, of course, is trying to promote that, as are other cities as well. And mural art can also reflect and honor the history and context of neighborhoods. And we'll see some pictures of that in the survey. Most owners of buildings are open to murals because they help deter graffiti tagging, and they actually enhance their building location and they beautify space. Getting the owner's permission isn't enough. You have to get either a permit from the city or you have to get a waiver. So finally, who are these artists? They're really internationally renowned artists. They're local legends and they're anonymous artists. But whoever they are, their objective really is to enlighten, to entertain us, to surprise, to educate and enliven us. And so let's enjoy this. I'll go through the pictures and then we can have some question and answers at the end. This is my first slide on Alberta Street from 15th to about 30th. And this one is typical of what you'll see along Alberta Street. The one on the left and the one on the right are more colorful, they're more interesting, sort of more down to earth than perhaps murals that you might see in downtown Portland, for example. And merchants here have really embraced having murals along their property to attract residents and shoppers to enjoy the neighborhood. And the mural on the house on the left and the commercial building on the right, again, as I said earlier, are really typical of what you're going to see along Alberta Street. On 17th in Alberta, Community Cycling Center, this is one of the oldest murals in this neighborhood, and it covers the entire wall of this building along 17th Street. And again, it's one of those that helps honor and enhance the character of the neighborhood of Northeast Alberta. Across the street from the Cycling Center mural is this one honoring Malcolm X. It's the second oldest surviving mural in Portland, and it was completed in 1984. Next to it is this mural that honors famous African Americans. For example, includes Martin Luther King, Jackie Robinson, Rosa Parks, and places like the Cotton Club in New York City. I should have mentioned that this intersection of 17th and Alberta with four buildings, three of them have murals. This one honors Floyd N. Booker Sr., a Black community leader, and it's one of the newest on Alberta Street, completed in 2019. Between 18th and 19th is this wonderful mural entitled Giant Rabbit, good name, I guess, painted in 2014 by a Brazilian artist, Mateo Velasco. Nearby on 22nd Street, this artist, Derek Yost, painted along the 22nd Avenue side of the American Legion building with these very colorful feathers. Nearby, also on Alberta and 22nd, this artist, Tom Kramer, painted colorful assortment of faces, musical instruments, and abstract designs. And it's very colorful and bright and enhances this particular part of the neighborhood, I believe. One of my very favorites along Alberta is this one called the Swimming Elephant. It was painted in 2018 by Pablo Garcia Gonzalez. And I especially like the rose in the trunk of the elephant here. Down below here, although it may look like graffiti to you, it was actually put there by the artist for the purpose of preventing tagging. Around the corner on the same building is this wonderful bouquet of flowers, also by the same artist, Pablo Gonzalez. Across the street, between 24th and 25th, this mural welcomes you to the alleyway bar. It's a wonderful enhancement of this Quonset hut building, and I love the graphics of the wolves and the deer. Between 27th and 28th is this mural, which I think is just a lot of fun and fits in really oh so well with the other murals in this area. And it's located on the side of a restaurant on Alberta. Across the lot from that last mural is this one that was again painted by Pablo Gonzalez. I understand the owner of the building specifically wanted to have pyramids in his building. I think one of your members recently saw some of the real pyramids in Egypt. On Alberta and 28th Street, this 25 by 100 foot long mural, it's the largest mural along Alberta Street. It was sponsored by the Black United Fund of Oregon, and it's located alongside the building. And it is intended to honor and celebrate historically African-American women. And these women include Coretta Scott King, Angela Davis, Ruby Bridges, Ruby Dee, and Maya Angelou. This is a picture of the entire mural. These are segments of the mural, again, showing some of the women that were honored by this wonderful mural. This is at the end near Alberta Street. Very colorful, wonderful graphics. Across the street from the mural honoring the African-American women is this one, again, by our friend, Alberta Gonzalez. Alberta is a Mexican who emigrated to Portland in 2001, and he lives in the neighborhood. The Mexican theme mural is found along the sidewall of a taqueria facing Alberta Street. Between 28th and 29th, a very creative and colorful mural entitled La Bonita is alongside of the building that houses a Mexican restaurant, La Bonita, that fronts on Alberta Street, excuse me. At the opposite side of this building is another mural, different artist, colorful, graphics are wonderful, really an enhancement to this building, both on the east side and the west side. And at Alberta and 29th, this is another favorite of mine, and it's been here for a number of years, and I especially like the artistry of the woman on the right of the four murals. Well, outside the Alberta Street district is this wonderful mural located on Northeast 42nd. It's entitled Jackie Robinson, and it's painted on the side of a very nondescript building, and I think it truly enhances the Cully neighborhood. Driving into Portland, in this case going from northeast to southeast to take pictures, and I did that on a number of occasions, is this wonderful black and white mural, which is unique of all the murals that I saw while I was surveying both the northeast and southeast Portland. And finally, the Fair-Haired Dumbbell, which is located at the east end of the Burnside Bridge, frankly is one of my favorite newly constructed buildings in Portland. Called the Fair-Haired Dumbbell because the two square buildings on the left and right are connected by the passageways in between. Graphics are wonderful, it's lively, it's just an exciting place to see. So turning from northeast, let's head into southeast Portland. This is a wonderful mural at Water and Belmont, and it's located underneath the Belmont ramp to the Hawthorne Bridge. You can see the part of the underside of the ramp here. It was painted by a Mexican artist, Oliver Casillas, and completed in 2020. Across a very large parking lot from the last picture that we saw is this wonderful mural by a Miami, Florida artist, Ernesto Maranje. It's entitled The Guardian. It was painted in 2016, and he has painted murals in other locations in the US, the Ukraine, Iraq, Jordan, Lebanon, Greece, and Spain. And he reportedly discovered his passion for art while in the US Coast Guard. Nearby on this warehouse on 2nd and Stark is a mural that is a collaboration between several artists, and it was sponsored by Alexis Food Company on this warehouse. On Southeast 3rd, this wonderful sort of subtle mural sponsored by Nikki Farms USA, which is a pioneer in seasonal farm to fork Northwest food movement. And it honors their business both in Hawaii as well as its farm in Aloha, Oregon. On Southeast 2nd and Stark, in the fall of 2018, new investors bought the former Coast Guard auto supply building, Coast Auto, supply building, and approached Portland Street Art Alliance to have murals painted on each side of the building. And their intent was to honor the history of Produce Row. And these pictures show what they have provided to us. I want to point out as we look at these, you may see these as graffiti on the vegetables and fruits, but they were actually put there by the artists to prevent tagging. And you can tell they're part of the mural because the colors of the what looks like graffiti is the same color as the vegetable or fruit that it's located. And I think it's done a nice job preventing tagging of the fruits. This is another view of another side of the building and another side of the building as well. Nearby on this old building here in the Produce Row area is a wonderful mural. Again, the owners of the building and Alexis Food, who has sponsored a number of murals in this particular part of Southeast Portland. They hired, through PSAA, artists to paint 3 sides of the building, all very colorful and interesting. This one is nearby on 2nd and Oak, trying to distinguish between graffiti art and mural art is sometimes a very daunting task. But this one figure of the zebra sitting by a stream with the face of a bear sort of said something to me, so I wanted to include this in this survey. And again, nearby on Oak, is this one, again, is it graffiti or is it art? And really what might be the difference? In this case, I just wanted to show the variety of street art in this small section of inner Southeast. I also probably was attracted to the ice cream cones. One of my favorites, again, on Oak and 3rd, is 3 large Greek-style urns. I'm showing 2 of them here, covering the face of this building on Southeast Oak. And I love the detail of the murals. I think they're striking. And you probably noticed that most of the murals along Northeast and Southeast are right at street level. And it allows you to get up close to look at the detail of each of the murals. But as you can also see, it's not very, very beneficial or ideal for taking pictures. Nearby, a 9th and Stark recently painted mural by an unknown artist to liven this gray office building. Stark and 9th, very colorful, abstract mural, again, enlivens this stretch of Southeast Portland. At the intersection of Washington and 10th, this is the first of 2 pictures of 2 murals. This one was painted by the artist who painted the Guardian, if you recall, on Yam Hill and Water Street of the tiger. Here it's a wonderful bird, and I love the colors and the attention to detail. Around the corner is this one. The artist is Suhab Attar, who collaborated with the prior artists, and again, to reflect our connection with nature. These 2 murals were painted by several artists. The one on the right, subtle gray and charcoal outlines, I think is complemented by the mural on the left with bright, bold colors and these Simpson-like characters. I think Homer and Marge would be very attracted to this particular mural. My favorite, and what a terrific mural. This massive green monster with its toothy grin looks like he's feasting on a boat, an SUV, and trucks. And I think the green painted plants are superb, and the teeth and the eyes, I don't know what I can say about it. This is just wonderful. Just to go to work every day and have to pass by that and make me happy all day. And on the same lot, this artist created this fun mural full of great statements like yo and chirp and hi and oh. There's cards, dice, dominoes, Egyptians. It's just fun to try to interpret the meaning behind the mural, if there is any particular meaning behind the mural. Sometimes it's just to enliven us. At 10th and Taylor, this gem of a mural on this old industrial building, it reminds me of 17th and 18th century Dutch paintings where the artist used fruit and veggies to create the face of a person. And here, the leaves, flowers, feathers, beads have created this very friendly bear, whereas the use of those same components have given us a much less friendly bear in this segment of the mural. Across Taylor is this very happy fox and 2 bird companions racing across the side of this building-long mural. On 14th and Morrison is a block-long series of murals sponsored by Portland Street Art Alliance and the building owner. And PSA called this Ladies Up Project. And they selected 8 female artists, all based in Portland, because street art is a very male-dominated culture. And PSAA wanted to create an opportunity for female artists. And the next 2 pictures will give greater detail to many of these separate parts of the mural. This one, again, the designs and content and subjects are all very, very different. And this one, again, showing the balance of the murals along this street between 14th and Morrison. I especially like the one in the top left. It was painted by an artist, Tatiana Ostapenko, who was inspired by her native Ukraine. Very charming. 12th and Stark, at that intersection is right across the street from the old Washington High School. And the artist Gary Hirsch has entitled this, What Brings You Joy? But he also has some age-old questions of how can you help and what's your inspiration? I'll have to admit that these figures do bring me joy. Nearby on 10th and Salmon, also by Gary Hirsch, is this mural. This side of the mural, it says, "What's your dream?" And on this side of the building wall, part of the mural, asks two more, a very important question. What do you care about and where are you going? I don't know about you, but at my age, I think I have some answers to all of Gary's questions. Give it some thought. 3rd and Morrison, this mural on a new building, and I think it's in the same category as the fair-haired dumbbell that we saw at the east end of the Burnside Bridge, and I love this. The name of the office building is Tree Farm, and it projects 72 trees and barrels on the side of the building. And if I was, looking for space, it would be a toss-up for me between the fair-haired dumbbell and Tree Farm. They're just colorful and just really unique spaces. Between 9th and 10th on Hawthorne is this very subtle mural. And right next to it is this one entitled Hawthorne Arrows. And around the corner from those last two murals is this one by Diana Bama, who was highlighted during Hispanic Latinx Heritage Month. And yes, we all are animals. On Southeast 9th between Clay and Hawthorne, if you're a Blazer fan, you'll love this mural, number 22, Clyde the Glide Drexler. '18th and Southeast Belmont. This block-long mural in the Buckman neighborhood is entitled Bad Karma. In researching this particular mural, I found the following quote by the artist. "We meet a lot of interesting people that live in the streets of Portland. We heard their stories and drew their portraits on this mural." And the portraits, again, are located along the top here and through here as well. On 12th and Morrison, the artist Joe Cotter was commissioned to paint this Buckman community mural by the City of Portland Bureau of Environmental Services. And it blends Portland's historic inner southeast, which is what you'll see through here, looking across the Willamette River to downtown Portland. And it's located at a bus stop, so while you're waiting for a bus or just passing by, it's a wonderful way just to take a look at the details that you see in this particular mural. 13th and Morrison, it's on this wall facing a parking lot. The Collector, a wonderful picture of this rhino, and it looks like his collection are street signs. And this large 70-foot mural on a 5-story building. It was created in 12 days in 2018 by a London-based artist, Finpack. The most striking thing about the mural, I think, is that it contains over 1,000 living plants that serve as the woman's hair. At 34th and Southeast Division, this mural was created by an art collective in Mexico, and it's titled Working Makes Me Important. This is a worker-led organization helping to improve the working conditions and protect civil rights through leadership development, organizing, education, and economic activity. Working makes me important. Up on 38th and Division is this abstract mural which stretches around 2 sides of this building. It's unique. I wanted to include it didn't see any other like this in the city, and I think it just adds a lot to the composition of all the murals found in this part of Portland. Up on 37th and Division, it's a portion of a building long mural. And this one is up on 63rd. It's sort of the far corner, bottom corner of this building. I think it's wonderful. It's very different. And the artist who painted this is the same one who did the fox and the two birds. And now finally, it's my last picture that I want to show you. In 1982, there was a group of artists formed Guerrilla Wallfare, and the first mural was the banana on the wall on Southeast 12th. And they painted it without the owner's knowledge because they thought the wall was so dull. You know, out of the group's many murals, this is the only one that exists, and it's Portland's oldest surviving mural today. The building owner was really surprised by the mural. He decided to keep it, and he had it restored in 2015. Again, the Regional Arts and Cultural Council, I would go to their website. They're the ones that have created the mural maps, Alberta Street, Inner Southeast, Portland, and also a map that covers murals throughout the city of Portland as well. It's online. It would be a good resource to maybe begin your discovery of murals in the city of Portland. The Regional Arts and Culture Council is a Portland government unit that's responsible for arts and culture here in the city of Portland. So I'd like to open this up now. I'd like to open this now up for any questions that you might have.
We've got a minute or two, Bob. That was wonderful.
Thank you.
Anybody have any responses or questions? Bob Strader.
Bob, does RAC put money into creating these murals?
They do. The last I saw it was $5,000, up to $5,000, I should say, to help sponsor this. So they do that in conjunction with the building owner. And I would go to their site if you're aware of businesses or building owners that would like to add a mural to their building. RAC would be a good place to start.
Dave Malcolm.
I was wondering, those were wonderful murals. Were they tagged? How many were tagged? Or is it generally not a problem when someone puts that much work into their art?
You know, I wish I could say that once a mural is up, it's never going to be tagged, but unfortunately, that's not the case. I've didn't take some pictures of murals that had been tagged, and so it's sad to say, but I would say the majority of them, particularly and surprisingly, those that are at street level, have not been tagged. So there is some honoring by other tag artists of the murals.
Ron, last question.
Thank you, Bob. That was a great talk. At, I believe, it's 15th in Alberta, there's a beautiful Amanda Gorman mural that you might want to add to your collection. It is really very, very, very well done. And I understand that there's actually a group in Portland that you can hire to put murals together to prevent tagging. And for a long time, that was very successful on the Gordon's Fireplace building that had a huge mural on it at 33rd and Northeast Broadway.
Right. I think you're referring to the Portland Street Art Alliance. It's a nonprofit, and they work closely with building owners and artists to create murals for them. So that's, again, an interest would be the Regional Art Culture Council and the Portland Street Art Alliance. Thank you, Ron.
And it seems to make a difference whether somebody's actively using the building or whether it is for the most part vacant and waiting new tenants. And
That's very true. And also, if it's a vacant building, it's also a prime site for a tent to be thrown up as well for
yeah,
a homeless person.
So
very
Bob,
good.
thank you. This was wonderful. I was smiling the whole time. That was great. Thank you for introducing us or expanding us into this.
You're welcome. And you should all be proud of, being a part of the East Portland Rotary. This is your territory. And again, like I said at the beginning, I think it has the highest concentration of murals in the city. And it's just enhancing to that side of the city of Portland. So thank you all for being part of that.
I think there was an article this week or last week about all the wall art in Springfield.
Absolutely.
They have a bunch of it down in their town too, which is great.
Yeah. Good for Oregon.
Yeah. Anyway, thank you for being with us, and you're sure